This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're speaking about the fact that FEMA is not an insurance company and that the National Flood Insurance Program is not really insurance but a governmental entity. And a suit against the National Flood Protection Association, the NFPA, must be filed only in federal court. In Brian Bevel versus Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the United States District Court for the Middle District of Florida on November 21, 2025, Judge John L. Badalamenti resolved the dispute over insurance coverage. Plaintiff Brian Bevel sued FEMA for breach of an insurance contract under the National Flood Insurance Program. The policy insured Bevel's property in Longboat Key, Florida, against flood damage. The property sustained damage on September 26, 2024. Bevel notified FEMA, which investigated but allegedly failed to adjust the loss per policy terms, constituting a material breach. Bevel filed the breach of contract suit in Florida State Circuit Court on May 4, 2025, seeking damages exceeding $50,000. FEMA removed the case to federal court on grounds of federal officer removal under 28 U.S.C. Section 1442A1. FEMA moved to dismiss under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B1 for lack of subject matter jurisdiction, citing derivative jurisdiction and sovereign immunity. Bevel failed to timely respond, and the court ordered a response, which was filed later in December, but accepted in the court's discretion. Bevel's response and arguments were rejected by the court. FEMA, as a removing party, should not seek dismissal, according to Bevel. Independent jurisdiction exists under 42 U.S.C. sections 4071 through 4072, or 28 U.S.C. section 1332, diversity. Dismissal would waste resources, as Bevel could refile in federal court. The court's decision hinges on federal court's limited jurisdiction and the requirement to resolve jurisdiction issues first. The motion was treated as a factual attack under Rule 12b1, allowing consideration of matters outside the pleadings. Burden to establish jurisdiction rested with the plaintiff, and dismissal for lack of jurisdiction are done without prejudice. Federal jurisdiction over a removed case derives from the state court's initial jurisdiction. If the state court lacks subject matter jurisdiction, the federal court acquires none upon removal, even if it would have had original jurisdiction. Florida State Court lacked jurisdiction over Bevel's NFIP breach of contract claim, as Section 42 U.S.C. Section 4072 vests original exclusive jurisdiction in the federal district court where the property is located. Bevel's policy was issued under Section 4071 and was an NFIP claim. The statutory framework starts with Section 42 U.S.C. Section 4071, which authorizes issuance of standard flood insurance policies by FEMA or write your own program insurers. Section 42 U.S.C. Section 4072 grants federal district courts original exclusive jurisdiction over suits by policyholders against FEMA for disallowed claims or breach. Venue is proper in the district where the insured property is located. Section 28 U.S.C. Section 1442A1 allows removal by federal officers or agents acting under federal law. However, derivative jurisdiction still applies. 28 U.S.C. Section 1332 says that diversity jurisdiction argued by Bevel was irrelevant due to the derivative doctrine. NFIP claims are statutorily exclusive to federal question jurisdiction. The plaintiff argued that FEMA removal was required to be effectively rejected because FEMA can seek dismissal in federal court even after removal, as it could have in state court. Dismissal without prejudice allows refiling in proper federal court, but plaintiff filed in the wrong court and therefore must comply with Section 4072. The order underscores the strict enforcement of exclusive federal jurisdiction for NFIP claims, preventing forum shopping via state filings followed by removal. Plaintiffs must file directly in federal court to avoid derivative jurisdiction pitfalls, and sovereign immunity further insulates FEMA from state court suits. Therefore, Bevel retains the right to refile in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida, and FEMA's motion to dismiss was granted. Plaintiff's complaint was dismissed without prejudice for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Plaintiff may refile in the proper federal court. In my opinion, FEMA is not an insurance company. It is a federal government agency that provides to people in flood zones indemnity to those who pay for the protection. It's not insurance. By its creation as a federal agency, suits against FEMA can only be brought in the federal courts, and the plaintiff attempted to avoid federal court by filing in state court, only to have FEMA remove the case to a federal court where it was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction because it wasn't in the district where the house was damaged. This video was adapted from my blog, Selma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL selma.com/blog. You can subscribe to the blog, and if you do, you'll receive notice of every blog posting, usually 5 or 6 a week, and you'll also gain access to the more than 5,200 blog postings. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and videos and let them know so that they too can subscribe. And if you're interested in further detail about insurance claims, insurance law, and insurance fraud, please consider for a very small fee subscribing to my Substack publication. Thank you for your attention.